Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News. In this video, I want to clearly explain the significance of the recent announcement by ABRA. They're introducing the world's first all-in-one cryptocurrency wallet and exchange. I think this went over a lot of people's heads in terms of how this all works and why it is so significant, particularly for Litecoin. So I want to dive into exactly how this all works and the technology that underpins this app. So Charlie Lee tweeted that this was the huge unexpected surprise. A lot of people were disappointed, but I tweeted out a lot of people don't realize how big this is, and the fact that you can now send cryptocurrency to anyone in the world with a smartphone that downloads this app, and all you need to know is their mobile number. So really reducing that friction, another means of onboarding. The only KYC you really need to do to start using with cryptocurrency is entering your mobile phone number when you download that app. So a lot easier than traditional centralized exchanges. There is a little bit more KYC if you do want to link a bank account, but I'll dive into all that as well. So huge week for Litecoin. I got to spend the day with Charlie in Sydney on Monday. Thanks to everyone that supported the channel. We crossed 10,000 followers on Twitter and 30,000 on YouTube this week. So it's been a huge 6 months. So download this app and have a play around with it. It's a very clean user interface. They allow you to invest in 20 cryptocurrencies and 50 fiat currencies. Now I want to talk about how this all works and how they're using smart contracts built on top of Bitcoin and particularly Litecoin to create these synthetic digital assets. So a few terms that we want to go over here, the basics, why this is so cool. So non-custodial decentralized exchange. So unlike Coinbase or a centralized exchange, you are the custodian over your private key. So when you download and install this app, it'll ask you to write down that seed phrase and you have that private key. Now this is a decentralized exchange. So no third party, no central authority. You're locking in these smart contracts when you invest in different cryptocurrencies using Litecoin, and I'll talk about how that works. So multi-sig technology, ABRA have one private key and you have the private key as well. So both of those keys need to sign a transaction before you can start to trade and invest. Now this is using smart contracts on top of Bitcoin and particularly Litecoin, as I mentioned, and this is one of the first real applications we've seen of smart contracts other than basic multi-sig technology on top of Bitcoin and Litecoin. So you're probably familiar with smart contracts on Ethereum and Neo, but this is really great to see smart contracts on top of Litecoin. So synthetic currencies, synthetic fiat currencies and synthetic cryptocurrency investing. I'll talk about how this all works as well. So you don't actually own the underlying asset. So let's say that you want to invest in a certain coin, say Ethereum. Now you use Litecoin to purchase a specific number of Ethereum via a smart contract. So when you cash out, they pay out your gains or your losses in terms of Litecoin. So Litecoin is the denominator. That's very important to this ecosystem. We're all familiar with how important Bitcoin is to exchanges because it is the pair that majority of coins are priced in. We've started to see exchanges like Binance use their own coin as the denominator or pair, and that's increased the demand for Binance coin a lot, for example. So if we're using Litecoin, hopefully that's going to increase the demand for Litecoin in a large way. So ABRA cover the fees, and the spread, the buy and sell spread in the price is how they sort of save money, I guess, if they're doing all these fees for free. So synthetic cryptocurrencies, and this is the slightly confusing part, they've made it possible to trade and invest without actually owning the underlying currency. So let's say we want to buy Vertcoin or Ethereum. You don't actually buy that coin through their app. You're buying a representation of this coin, a synthetic currency that only exists in this platform, and it uses smart contracts to follow and track the price of that coin. Now, if it goes up, as I said before, you're paid out in Litecoin, and making it very important to this ecosystem. Same with fiat currencies. If you decide that crypto is going up and you want to hedge, it's very easy to go into USD or Euro, or we're hoping that they really roll out more and more currencies in the future, but you don't actually own US dollars. So it's just creating these smart contracts. It's all pegged on their back end. And so when the price of Bitcoin goes up and you're happy with that, you peg it to the USD, then it falls, then you can move back into Bitcoin. So it's the same as cashing out without actually doing so, all using this smart contract technology built on top of Litecoin. So awesome stuff. At the moment, their on-ramps are, Bitcoin, USD, and I think Philippines local currency. You must have one of those three to trade on the exchange. However, they're looking forward to extending the protocol, and they've chosen Litecoin. So after much research, they chose this one particularly for the low mining fees. And I've spoken recently in that Charlie interview about fees being reduced by a factor of 100. So if we're going to see huge demand and huge number of transactions using Litecoin, those fees are so tiny, they're negligible, and that's really important. We know that Bitcoin fees can increase significantly when we have millions of users or transactions all going through the network. So why this is so important: increased usage of Litecoin, if Litecoin is the denominator or the pair for a lot of coins. Increased liquidity with more transactions, that should reduce the bid-ask spread. Increased scarcity. If we have all this Litecoin locked up in smart contracts, it basically almost becomes a Litecoin ETF. So huge demand for Litecoin. It's all locked up and taken off the market. The amount of Litecoin left available for trading is reduced, and that should push up the price as well. Not only that, but this is just great for Litecoin in general. So increasing the adoption, the number of people that enter the space that are familiar and they've heard the term Bitcoin, this is really putting Litecoin out there in the mainstream. At the moment, they're doing tens of millions of dollars in transactions, but they've only got a small number of downloads and average daily users. If this app really gains traction and widely used in a number of countries, this is going to hugely increase the demand for Litecoin, guys. So great to see smart contracts, great to see Lightning Network being rolled out on mainnet for Bitcoin and Litecoin this week. There's been some good fundamental news, but markets can often stay irrational in the short term. You guys know that I still believe in cryptocurrency long term. I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Download that app and have a play around with it. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, share these videos around, and as always, thanks for tuning in, guys. Cheers.